Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a good show today.
We got so many. Oh, yeah.
You're just
All
hankering.
right. So that paper thing, don't do again.
What?
If you want, I'll mute you.
Let's not start with that as the intro. Like, people just immediately turn it off.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't even funny. It's just painful.
It's like the static.
My ears are bleeding.
Except the static is volume controlled to not be painful.
Oh,
and
so
short.
I could do it quietly. Is that better?
Hey, welcome back to Even More Mashed Up. We are the pop culture podcast where two professors get together. We talk about all things pop culture. My name's Alan.
And if you're wondering where we are in the multiverse, I'm Patrick 1.
Oh, I see what you did there.
See?
Yeah.
See? That worked.
Why do you assume that you're Patrick 1?
I was going to make myself
the
Patrick
ego.
2. I was going to call
Oh my
myself
God, the
Patrick
ego.
2,
It's
but I
like,
felt
oh, no.
that's kind of
Like
that's
you're-
like diminishing myself.
You're Patrick Prime.
Hey,
Yeah.
Like everybody else
Exactly.
is a pale imitation
exactly.
of you.
I was going to do I'm Patrick 2 because I have to assume there's a better version of me somewhere.
I thought you would be Patrick 616.
Well, no, that's really nerdy.
And you're not that.
Yes.
Apparently, the one that stepped into that.
I would
then.
say you're the one. Yeah, I'm not the one that brought up the 616.
Fair point. Fair point. You know what I've got today? I've got a gift for you.
Ooh.
It's a post-Christmas, I don't know, baby New Year gift. Because I brought numbers.
You're not supposed to bring numbers.
I know I'm not supposed to, but
You're
I
not
brought
allowed
them.
to bring numbers.
But here's the thing.
It is my thing.
No, you're going to love it
Well, now,
because
to be fair, he's not banned from bringing numbers.
Apparently,
I have not been banned yet
Apparently,
from
Alan
numbers.
is Patrick 1 today.
So, do you want to ban me from numbers?
Oh, he gets that power? I can't have that, but he gets that
Oh,
power?
Rich is here too.
Yeah.
Rich, you'll like this because you're involved
you
in the
mean,
numbers.
You mean Rich 5?
Oh, he's just.
No, we've proven that.
Or is it Nixon?
No, he's 3.
It's a
That's what I assume.
no, it's a callback to the radio show where we gave away all the rich
Oh,
gifts.
the rich
or
gifts.
That's what I
awards,
assumed the
but they all
5 was
went
a
to-
reference to,
they
yeah.
all
Oh
went
no,
to-
it was just.
Oh, you just assume I'm the
They all
weaker
went to
version.
better
no, there's-
versions of Richard.
There's an infinite number, so you're above all the other ones. Just there's at least 4 riches other than you.
At least 4. That's what numbers mean.
Yes.
It's a guess. It's not
And
exact.
actually, being Patrick 1 doesn't mean you're the best Patrick.
That just means I'm the original, from which all
I don't think
others
so.
diverge.
Is that true in the Marvel universe? I thought
No.
the 616 was the original.
Oh, do you want to talk about the multiverse and how
no.
it works?
No.
No.
Oh, I've got questions
pretty
for
sure
you,
you
but
do.
we will wait.
Yes, that's why I got to 4 pages of notes, and I'm like, yeah, Alan's going to have questions about the multiverse, and I'm not going to need this many notes.
So here's where I want to start.
Okay.
The first ones are easy. The first numbers are easy. They're just kind of get you warming up. Mm-hmm. So I know you're going to do this at some point in the show, so let's get it out of the way. Mm-hmm. Rank your Spider-Mans.
Ooh, I did not think of doing that.
Come on. You haven't been sorting them in your mind.
Are we
since the
talking
moment
about
you
the
sat down.
character, or are we talking about the films when you say ranking Spider-Man?
No, the Spider-Mans in each film.
Okay, now
Not
which
the
ones?
film.
Now which ones are we including?
Whichever you like.
How many?
I'm assuming at least Maguire, Garfield.
Okay. Hey, here's an idea. Do we want to tell people what we're actually talking about today? Because we haven't actually said
Do you
that.
think they don't know?
In case they haven't figured it out.
Did the
topic for
Spider-Mans
today.
not give it away?
Possibly. Also, they'll probably click on the link that says, Spider-Man No Way Home. So
Oh, we did it in Dolby.
we did.
Yes. It
Or
was
as they
like-
would say in Spinal Tap, doubly.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's a. If we're just doing the 3, they're all pretty good in different ways.
They really are. It's a hard thing to do.
I mean, Tom Holland is the most accurate in the terms of being like actually young.
That's fair. Although Tobey Maguire looked like a young.
I mean,
In his own way.
Holland, I think captures.
No.
He's the
What was
best
it?
in terms of being the youthful
Is he going to go into
Spider-Man.
battle as a youth pastor? Like,
Well, he
that
looks-
was dead on the
he
money.
looks older now.
Oh yeah, that was a
best
yeah.
line of the movie, by
Especially
the way.
opposite Holland and Garfield.
It's hard
yeah.
to say. They're all really good in different ways.
So you refuse to rank them.
Yeah, it's hard because even Garfield, who prior to the film I probably would have ranked last, like this film made me have a much greater affection for
Garfield
him.
is a really good Spider-Man. I've said this from the beginning. He was stuck in bad movies.
Yes, he was.
But
You are
I
correct.
thought he captured a kind of Peter Parkerishness.
Yeah. Well, it's
that
one
I
of the things.
really
It's one of the
like.
things I mentioned is that both Maguire and Garfield. It's the moment they show up in the film, they haven't lost a beat from playing the character.
No.
Like they were immediately in character,
Yeah.
exactly as they were in the films, and so Boy, it's hard. They're all really, really good.
For me, I think Maguire lags a little bit, but it might
Yeah.
be because I remember Spider-Man 3.
Also, Maguire's had the most
haircut,
time.
You know, like, he went
Yeah,
through...
I mean, yeah.
That one
It would have been
didn't
kind of funny
end
if that's
well
when he
to
showed
me.
up, like
Yeah.
in the Venom suit. Like,
I mean, Maguire, I just have an affection for Maguire because he was the first.
I understood.
but he's also had the most time between films.
Yeah.
Like,
Have
And
you
yet-
seen Tick, Tick, Boom?
I have
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
Tick Tick or TikTok? Was it Tick Tick Boom or TikTok Boom? I guess it's Tick Tick, yeah.
Why would it be TikTok? It's
I
like
don't
a
know. For
time
some,
bomb?
for some reason, I thought yes.
Yeah. So anyway, he's
I've heard
great
good
in
things
that.
about,
too.
yes.
He's very good in that. So
Yeah, he's a very good actor.
I think Holland is the best rounded of the three.
How do you mean?
Of age, he looks like a high schooler. He does a
Yeah.
good Peter Parker. He does a good Spider-Man. Like, to be Spider-Man, you
Yeah.
have to be both Peter and
and he's
Spidey.
also had a lot more opportunity. He's had he's been in the Avengers.
That's
and
a fair
stuff.
point,
Like,
too.
He's
But
had a lot more
that
help.
is true. He's
He
done
also has just a-
6 at this point, I guess.
His boyish enthusiasm
Yeah.
really captures kind of the original.
Yeah. Though, interestingly enough, it's only at the end of this film that I would say he actually gets to being the classic Spider-Man.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. We'll get to that. Can I ask you a question, though?
Of course.
Do you ever find it
Is it about the
presumptuous when
multiverse?
somebody says, interestingly enough, because they're kind of proclaiming that what they're about to say is interesting? Shouldn't you
No.
leave that for your audience to
No,
decide?
I don't have a
Patrick
problem with that.
one would not leave anything to the audience.
Interestingly enough, no, I don't.
Patrick Prime always begins things interesting.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I don't have a problem with people saying that. It's totally fine.
All right. In the movie,
Prime
then,
has spoken.
all right, we got to keep warming up. In
Yep.
the movie, rank your villains. Like, there are 5 of them in the movie, right?
Oh, that's much easier to do.
Okay, let's see if you agree with mine.
I
I've got
would-
mine written here. I know you're number 1 for sure.
Melina's Doc Ock.
Oh, yeah, I had number 1.
Defoe's Green Goblin is number 2.
We'll had him at number 4.
Really? Oh, yeah, I like
I don't
Defoe.
love the Green Goblin. Go on.
I don't either, but I like Defoe as Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Who does that? Oh, boy, then you get
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Can I just kind of lump them all together as there?
Yeah, but isn't Lizard kind of 5th?
I don't know because Sandman is all CGI and repurposed footage.
I got
so-
Sandman number 2, though.
Wait,
no.
Wait,
Sandman.
Sandman's all repurposed footage?
Yeah, they couldn't get Thomas Hayden Church because I think he was busy on another film that also has him like very beardy, and so like the one that's why he's CGI the whole time, and the one shot of him turning back to human form is actually footage from Spider-Man 3,
Wow.
Okay.
and all of the
Oh.
lizard footage is also repurposed. Or he's
They didn't
or
CGI any
or
of
the
that?
or the one sorry the one scene where he turns human is repurposed.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that makes sense.
Because Ethan's couldn't get over here because of COVID restrictions on travel because he's in the UK.
Wow. that's
So they did the voiceover. They
Yeah.
recorded the dialogue, but they are not physically in the film.
That is fascinating, though. I didn't know that was all.
All right, one more.
Okay.
Rank your Spider-Man films or your franchises.
Oh boy.
Oh, you're not going to be another, like, muddled middle, are you?
No,
I mean, it's
no.
gotta be
They're all
Holland.
kind of equally good.
No.
and they've
I
got
would
their
I would
strengths
put
and
the
weaknesses.
Garfield duology is last because it's the weakest.
In terms of films?
Yeah, in terms of films.
Absolutely. It's
nothing to do. It's scripts.
Yes.
He and Emma Stone were fantastic
Absolutely.
in the roles, but
Hope is still really mad
their
that
storylines were not
they
great.
never got 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Boy.
So then you got Maguire versus the MCU.
Yeah, I'd
And that's
probably.
the problem is that Holland's got MCU.
Well, see, but that's the problem. If we're just going pure Spider-Man films,
I think even
That's interesting. Interesting. But, like, that first Spider-Man film was quite good.
and the second Spider-Man is still which is the first Doc Ock film. Like I
Yeah.
would probably put. It's really close. I'd probably put Maguire a smidge ahead.
Yeah, interesting. But we agree that Into the Spider-Verse would be number 1.
I love it. Yeah, that is
Oh,
so
Such a
good.
movie.
Yeah,
Such a
yeah.
good movie.
Into the Spider-Verse is.
it was hard not to
is-
think about that. Watching
Though
this
I will
movie.
say, No Way Home gets close to Spider-Verse for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
But Spider-Verse is yeah, it's just such a perfectly done film.
Agreed. All right, now it gets difficult. As of December 22nd, 2021, and I should note these numbers change pretty frequently. Did you know that No Way Home has found itself inside IMDb's top 250 films of all time?
No, that doesn't surprise me.
Okay. Guess what the ranking is? Of all the films ever made, according to IMDb, what do you think No Way Home was as of December 22nd.
I mean, is this like box office or just their random ranking?
Just the IMDb ranking of kind of IMDb quality.
Oh boy. Out of 250?
Yeah.
I want to say close to 150.
150?
I'll say 10.
It's number 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 9. Now, clearly, it's got like a recency bias
It does
built
have
into
a recency
it.
bias, yes.
But that puts it in the range of The Matrix, Apocalypse Now, 2001: A Space Odyssey,
feels about right.
and Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So it's clearly not overranked.
Yeah, that's
What
clearly...
is 8? Do you know what 8 is?
I kind of did the Patrick Prime approach to this, which is I don't need to know any context around the numbers.
Excuse me.
I would just love to know what it
My numbers are filled with context.
I love to know to say, oh no, this is just slightly better than Spider. No way.
Yeah, that does seem a little. That seems a little.
Yeah. That's
Because
pretty heady
well,
company
there
to
a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is the best of the MCU." I'm like, okay, it is a very fun film. It is not the best.
Let's
of the
give
MCU.
it a couple of weeks.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah,
on that.
it is. I mean, once you get to the other Spider-Man showing up,
Yeah.
it is great. Before that, there is some seriously ropey plotting to get us to that. point.
There's some. I would say there are some of the best MCU moments in this film,
Yes.
but not. It would not for me be near the top
No.
of the MCU.
Well, because I mean, you know,
pyramid.
I think it was about the moment where Peter's on the bridge talking to the MIT person and Doc Ock shows up. I'm like, yeah, we're not really paying attention to whether anything here makes any kind of sense.
Oh.
We're just getting to the multiverse and getting to it as fast as possible.
There was a huge problem with the filming of that too. The MIT person is trapped inside the car. She can't open the door because it's up against a barrier.
Yes.
The next scene, Peter walks up beside it and leans into her window and starts talking to her. How'd there get to be all this space between the barrier and the car all of a sudden? Editing mistake.
Probably there was like a
a shaky
eruption into the
bridge.
multiverse.
I thought he was on the other side
No,
of
he
it.
was not.
Oh.
No. So, that's not the highest ranked superhero movie on IMDb, however.
Is Endgame higher?
Well, that's the guess, isn't it? What is the higher ranking film?
Endgame?
Of their yes.
Oh, that or one of the Iron Man movies, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I wonder if they would have something. Oh, is it Dark Knight?
It is The Dark Knight,
Which
which checks in at number 4.
What you got to realize, there's a reason Alan is asking this question.
Yeah.
It's possible Dark Knight might come up in something I've got too.
At one point, Dark Knight was number 4, but he slipped to number 1, now slipped to 4.
Oh, okay.
That film is so overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Interesting.
So,
Do you want to do a quick fair or foul?
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to save it?
I've got this.
We're talking about The Dark Knight.
This is one specifically.
Which is a garbage political film.
So this is one
one is-
from Owen Gleiberman at Variety.
It's the one with the Joker. It's the allegory for terrorism and how if we
okay.
just let the
I
big
believe-
brother
wait,
state
is it
intrude
an
upon
allegory
all of
for-
our
is it an
lives, it
allegory
will
for
make us
terrorism
happier
or an
people.
allegory for some crimes.
The
committed.
crimes of the Bush administration. Hadn't thought about that one. But, of course, the crimes Batman commits are the crimes of the Bush
So I thought
administration.
you'd
This
like
is well
this.
established
Yes.
in my interview in the, God, what was that? It was like the
That's
local
Scranton-
entertainment
yeah,
magazine.
gosh, I
Oh, my
totally
God.
The
Yeah.
local entertainment
Thank God,
magazine.
thank God nobody ever read that.
Yeah. So Owen Gleiberman at Variety.
Yes.
He's arguing how, despite not liking No Way Home,
I
it
know
should
Owen.
still be
Yeah,
nominated for a
sophisticated
Best
thinker.
Picture Oscar, which he attributes it not being nominated to Academy snobbery. And so he says, quote, "We've been through this debate several tedious times, most spectacularly in 2008 when The Dark Knight, the greatest superhero movie ever made, couldn't finagle a Best Picture nomination. For the record, here are a few of the timeless masterpieces that were nominated in its stead. The Reader, Frost Nixon, and
Wait,
The
whoa.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Frost Nixon was excellent.
The
Wait,
Dark Knight is 10
Benjamin
times
Button
the
was the
work of
same
art that any of those movies are."
Okay, not Frost Nixon.
Wow.
No. You know what the problem with that review is? It's riddled with
Oh, God.
mistakes.
Riddled with inaccuracy.
Yeah. Well, just like phlebitis.
I read that. I was like, well, that's got to go in the fair or foul.
Yeah. I don't think The Dark
10
Knight...
times the work
Yeah.
of art of any of those other films.
Okay, number one, that's foul. Number two, the
Oh,
idea
I'm
that...
sorry. You said something before foul.
What?
You said that's foul.
That's foul. It's very foul. It's foul.
It's
That's
foul.
That's all I was
It's
saying.
fudging foul.
The idea that it's the greatest superhero movie of all time, I think, is also debatable. Now, let me
No,
say,
Oh, absolutely.
No, greatest superhero movie ever made.
Well, that would be of all time.
Well, no,
right?
because there's the future in which ones have not been made.
Well, it's from his attitude. It sounds like nothing will
Ever
top
made.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 times the work of art.
That movie is desperately overrated. Though it's a really well made movie.
Oh, it's a good movie.
Nolan
It's not
can craft
bad.
a movie.
It doesn't have the giant flaw that Frost Nixon has.
You mean a moment that's not true?
Yes.
The whole freaking film isn't true. It's literally all a lie.
And yet within it, it's all a kind of true.
yeah. But that's like saying, it's
Isn't
like
an
saying,
entertaining lie like the truth?
would you say that Leni Riefenstahl should have gotten Oscars for her work? She was Hitler's filmmaker.
No, yeah.
Like did the Nuremberg Rally and all that kind
Are
of
you
stuff.
comparing No Way Home to Nazi propaganda films?
More Christopher Nolan's Dark
Oh,
Knight.
okay. Oh, that's fine then.
Okay.
Yeah.
The point being
Makes perfect sense.
that I think film scholars would say that Riefenstahl was brilliant in the way that she made the film. But doesn't the content of the film kind of undermine the artistry of the film at some point? Like if you're making a film that says
But
it's
it's
okay
Batman.
to trample all civil liberties, it's okay to destroy the Constitution, like John McCloy said they should during World War II regarding Japanese Americans, shouldn't we say for a minute, let's not award this film too much?
Yeah.
Anyway, it comes in at number 4. But Spider-Man No Way Home is the second Spider-Man film in the top 250. What is the other, and where does it rank?
I would hope it's Into the Spider-Verse.
It is. But where does it rank, Smarty?
What was No Way Home was 9, you said?
It was 9.
Yeah, but it's boy. Into the Spider-Verse.
I'll be optimistic and say 7.
7? Better.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I'll say 20.
66, actually.
Okay.
Oh,
Spider-Man No Way Home. Isn't this fun, just firing questions off?
It is.
Is the third...
Whoa. I think you mean, isn't this fun? Numbers?
Fast fact fun. No Way Home is the third MCU film to crack the top 250. What are the other two?
didn't we say them?
The other two, Endgame.
Well, no, MCU films.
Oh, MCU specific.
Oh, I say no, Dark Knight was. So I would.
Yeah, so Dark Knight-
No, sorry, Black Panther.
Wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
criminal.
Endgame.
Endgame was right.
One of the first Iron Man?
No.
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so
if Endgame's in
disappointing.
there, it's hard. I mean, because they're kind of linked.
So one other Marvel film made the list. Any guesses?
One other Marvel film.
Oh, look at you puzzling it.
Yeah, I
now,
know, yeah.
now it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
For
One
Patrick
other.
Prime.
Is it Ghost Rider?
Oh my God, I wish it was Ghost Rider. By the way,
true
Ghost Rider,
cinema.
the first Ghost Rider Nick Cage film is
I
brilliant.
know. I meant it
Oh,
because I know you love. I know
masterpiece.
you
So
love the
good.
first.
Have you seen the second one?
Is it Days of Future Past?
No, you're thinking too much. It's Logan,
Oh, yeah. I
Oh.
was in the X-Men universe.
but only
so-
222.
Okay.
And as just ballots, last question. DC also has 5 in the top 250. I've already given you one.
Dark Knight.
Yep. What else?
Is the original Superman in there?
It is not.
Oh.
Batman v Superman.
Batman what? Batman Beastman?
V. Superman.
Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman?
Batman versus Superman. That was one.
No and no.
Jeez. What else? Is it the original 89 Batman?
Not in there either.
What's the Justice League film?
But the Snyder cut made it.
Yeah.
That's literally what my thought was. I guess
I
it's
think
like the
what other
Snyder cut because of all
DC
the petitioning.
Trying to think what other DC stuff there's been.
Is the other Batman film?
They're all Batman related except for one.
So is it? I want to say the whole Nolan trilogy.
Yep. Batman Begins is at 138.
Oh, is
And The Dark Knight Rises is at 73.
Whoa, that's high for Dark Knight Rises.
Way high.
Yeah.
But it is the
Nolan.
greatest trilogy ever known to man.
Well, I don't know about that.
And will ever be known.
I'm just quoting that guy.
Yeah, I know.
There's another one that's Batman related. Related.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joker?
Yeah. It's 70
Oh.
is way overrated. Joker might be more grotesquely overrated than The Dark Knight.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. And the final one was V for Vendetta, which I
Oh,
think
there
you
we
might
go.
not
Yeah, that's
get
right.
to because it's kind of off the beaten
Yeah.
path.
And you forget it's a DC film.
You know, I wrote at the end of this is that my guess is I wouldn't like asking the questions any more than answering them, and I was right. But how do you like my first foray into
It wasn't bad.
like
Wasn't bad.
A
I
battering
don't feel
ram
like we
of
need
questions.
Patrick to do it ever again.
No.
Yeah. Maybe we should
gotta
leave
pay-
it to the fans to see whose numbers they prefer.
Oh,
Yes.
no, let's not do that.
Your numbers would win. Like you're the numbers king. All right, what do you got for
Patrick
numbers?
Fears is in the audience.
Well, I don't know. I've got a lot of... Well, okay,
Oh
so...
my God! So is the whole show going to be numbers?
That's what I'm worried about. I've got almost an entire show's
Just so
worth
you
of
know,
numbers.
if you look over here real quick, I have an entire page of magic and science questions. for
Okay.
you.
Oh, gosh. Numbers.
Magic and science.
Oh!
Well, the movie had both. I don't know what to say.
I did like when Dr. Ock was like seeing all the magic and stuff, like preposterous. I was like,
So
oh,
where do
it's
you,
gonna get
so
way
where
worse.
do you think Spider-Man No Way Home is in terms of all time's domestic box office?
Well, I know it's done big box office, and I know
very
that
big.
it's done like box office that's not been done since COVID. Mm-hmm. And it's hit. That's domestic, right?
Yes,
because it's
so
hit
US.
it's hit $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
Globally. So that means it's got to be doing pretty well. So what do you want? Like top 10%, or do you want me to give you a number?
No, I want a number.
For how long? For the first week?
Just over all time total box office
Just a box
Oh.
office.
so far.
I'm going to say number one.
Where did you get this information from?
This is from thenumbers.com.
Oh, this is not the paywall site, then.
No.
Okay.
But there's also multiple articles that were
Do we
published
want to
this
not
week
mention the
talking
paywall
about it.
So now,
site?
is this in constant dollars, or is this like
I don't
inflation
think
adjusted dollars?
I don't think these are adjusted.
All right, I'm going to say The Dark Knight.
I asked you what number it is.
Oh,
What number?
18.
What number do you think it is? The Dark Knight.
might have got off track there.
You are correct, sir.
It's 18. Excellent.
No, with Dark, no.
It's 18 too. It's too high, right?
It's too low. Actually,
I said
Really?
one.
10?
10.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
It is 10th domestic. It's 12th in worldwide.
all time. Wow.
Yeah, it's done crazy.
I mean,
Fun fact:
It's done more money than it should have. if
how
we're
many
honest.
of the domestic box office top 10 are MCU films?
Well, since it must not
More than half, at
be
least.
adjusted. Yeah, I'm going to say 8.
Incorrect.
So is it 5?
It is 5.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you want to guess which 5?
No.
Endgame.
Yep.
Infinity War.
Yep.
No Way Home.
Yep.
It's probably just the most recent ones, right?
No.
No.
Well, close.
Iron Man?
but-
The first? Oh.
No. Another of the Avengers films?
Yes.
Avengers 1?
Oh,
Yes, Avengers
Civil War?
one.
God help me. If it's Ultron, I'm storming off the set.
It's not Ultron.
Civil War?
Nope.
Oh.
Not Civil War.
Nope.
Huh.
I thought we just followed the whole, like, setup.
Yeah. Winter Soldier?
Nope.
Guardians?
Nope.
Thor?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't...
Ant-Man.
Nope.
What is it?
It's Black Panther.
Oh!
I thought we said Black Panther.
You did not say
No,
Black
we said Black Panther for the
No,
ranking.
he said it, not
Yeah.
me. So, yeah, bad guess on my part.
Yep. How
Dark
many
Knight.
of the worldwide
Is it The
top
Dark Knight?
10 are MCU films?
Is it
6.
Nope.
5.
12?
18.
No.
92.
Top 10.
1, 2, 3.
3.
All right, guys.
92.
Do you want to guess which ones they
Nailed
are?
it.
Endgame, Infinity War, Black
Infinity
Panther.
War, Endgame. Is it Black Panther, do you think?
I'm just... Yeah, I
I know No Way Home,
Nope.
because it's a fresh one.
Nope. It's the first Avengers. Spider-Man is at No Way Home is at 12. At number 11.
Wait, what is the first Avengers?
is Age of Ultron.
Oh, no.
So it did really well
Did really well
globally.
worldwide. Yeah.
It's an odd thing when Americans get something right and the rest of the world gets it wrong anymore.
Yep.
But
So Spider-Man,
There you
as
have
you
it.
already mentioned, is the number 1 film this year. What's number 2
just the number 2 film this year?
of domestic box
I was
office
in 2021,
for
not...
2021? Yeah.
Gosh. Was it something that came out this holiday season?
Hawkeye.
I would not say. I would say no.
Is it superhero?
Yes.
What superhero just came out then? Eternals?
No.
No.
Would be the one just before Eternals.
Came before Eternals.
I have no idea. I didn't even remember Eternals.
I don't know. Oh, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
By, it should be said, a massive amount, because the domestic box office for Spider-Man is over 600 million. Shang-Chi's, what, 224?
So it sounds like Marvel is kind of single-handedly saving cinema.
That's what a lot of people said No Way Home was going to do. Like, a lot of people were saying No Way Home is going to save...
Not Scorsese. He was not saying that.
I was going to say, like, we should get Scorsese on. Scorsese quote?
Yep. I've got lots of other numbers, but we've spent a lot of time on numbers, so we should probably get to...
You love science and magic.
I do love
you
science
love
and magic.
explaining how comic books work for me.
I do love science and magic and multiverse questions.
I really only have one science question, and all the rest are magic multiverse.
Okay, I'll probably be better at the magic multiverse one.
Should I be skeptical that all of the science needed to quote-unquote cure all 5 of the bad guys can be done in a high school lab?
Yes.
That is a good point.
And yes, I know it's a fancy high school lab for nerdy science students, but literally,
to be
I just want
fair-
to point out, literally, in that lab, they have all the technology.
Well,
they
to
need.
be fair,
Not only the technology,
I mean,
but
that
the
is
chemicals
where
needed
we see...
Exactly.
in that same room, not like in another room.
I think in the Garfield Spider-Man, that is where we see him inventing the web fluid, is in the high school lab.
I'm sorry, are they in the Garfield universe?
They're close enough. It's like the third one. It's like 2 adjacent.
All right, can we move to the more serious questions?
Yes.
Magic works how?
It doesn't.
It works however we need it to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So they open a portal to an Arctic blizzard, making the Sanctum Sanctorum snowy.
Yes.
Could they use magic to clean it up instead of shoveling it?
Well, but I'm pretty sure they're teaching those interns a lesson.
Like, I thought when I first saw them that the interns had caused the mess, i.e. they would clean up the mess, as a punishment.
Would you want to teach them how to use magic to clean up such a mess?
Well, no, I thought that was...
Well, that
at first I
implies
thought that was
that
a
Stephen
punishment.
Strange has any interest in doing any of those things and has any interest in actually fixing the problems he causes, which historically he does not.
Which leads to my next question. Do you even remotely buy that Doctor Strange is actually wearing a sweatshirt under his cape to stay warm? Look, both of these scenes are done to be funny.
They are done to be funny.
They're not meant to be in any way, believable.
Yeah.
Again, I think he must have a simple spell for warming himself.
You would think. Well,
Well,
but it's
now
clear
you're just-
from the Multiverse of Madness trailer when we see him walking up the stairs and everything's wet that things are melting on their own.
Yes, but I feel like he could have taken care of it. Anyway.
Could have. But he's more about like using the magic to do things that create problems than using the magic to do things that solve problems.
That seems an odd kind of line to draw.
Well, it's not so much. It's more of a. I don't know that he consciously draws it. It's just kind of his nature.
So,
And one wonders why he's no longer in charge, so to
well,
speak.
that's my next
Well, to
question.
be fair, he's never been in charge.
Do you really buy?
Wasn't he announced in the...
Doesn't he become the Sorcerer Supreme?
I don't think he ever. No, I think.
Yeah, doesn't...
Doesn't he say I'm no longer Sorcerer Supreme because I got blipped?
Yeah, because beforehand, the previous one basically said, hey, you're kind of in charge now. Like, it's your thing.
Oh no, she said that he's destined to become the greatest of them all.
But doesn't he say in this film that he's given it up to Wong?
I don't think he gave it up. I don't think he ever had it. And then
No,
when he
he-
got blipped, they had to
Alan,
find a
you're
new
right. He
one. and Wong
specifically
was
says
there.
that I am no longer the Sorcerer Supreme because I was blipped.
Does he say no longer? I thought he
Yeah,
just said he
no.
lost out to seniority.
I don't think
Well,
so. I
either
think,
way,
yeah, he
like-
was the Supreme Sorcerer.
I'm not. I
mean,
And
I
then
everybody
see,
it's
followed
clear
him.
that because he got blipped, Wong became Supreme.
see, I see it more as there was no
So-
Supreme Sorcerer defined, and then
They sure
when he got
followed him
blipped-
as though he was in charge during
Exactly.
the Doctor
he
Strange
was,
film.
He
They sure
was in charge.
acted-
He always bossing Wong around.
Everyone sure acted like he was in charge.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I don't know
No,
that he's ever
this is-
named.
Look, if you don't want to engage the movie in a serious way, we can
I'm
just
engaging
end
in
the
a serious
podcast
way.
right now.
I'm just thinking. I don't know. If
We
he
can
was
all
ever
go home.
actually, I
That's
don't
right,
know
we
if he
can
was
just
ever
go home.
actually Sorcerer Supreme, or if it was just kind of a vacant position for a
And
while.
so now Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme.
Correct.
And when Stephen Strange is like, I'm going to cast this really dangerous spell, he's like, do whatever. I'm going off somewhere.
Yeah, well,
What
Wong's
kind
in
of
charge
Supreme
and
Sorcerer?
immediately leaves.
There's no way he's still the Supreme Sorcerer at this
there's a
point.
severe lack of checks and balances within the Wong Strange relationship.
Like,
You are
where was he
correct.
going? Like, he's packing
He was
up.
fighting. He was
clearly
going to fight Abomination.
Again, if
clearly
that's where
what's
he's
important.
headed, I wonder if he's being a good Sorcerer Supreme.
I don't know. It seems like he would have more
I feel
important
like
things
he's
to do
not.
than fight, giant gamma
And you can't say he needs the money.
Right.
They must have a way to make magic money out of nowhere.
And
Oh no,
he's
that would cause really bad inflation.
And he has 2 interns who can shovel out the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Apparently only 2, because you never see anybody else.
yeah.
All right, here's the big question I have for you. What exactly does the magic spell at the end actually do?
I
So
think
everyone's forgotten Peter Parker.
that's what I think it does. Everyone forgets Peter Parker.
So there's no government records. They're all erased.
Oh,
His
man.
driver's
I was
license
gonna
is
ask
gone.
this.
See, I don't know about
His
that,
high
'cause-
school yearbook
Well, no,
now
'cause
has
he's-
a blank space. I'm
Alan.
not done yet.
Oh.
His driver's license has been erased. All the texts that he exchanged with his friends have
Alan,
magically
you think way too much into
disappeared.
this. There was a week where everybody on the planet did nothing but text, tweet, film,
Right.
and talk about Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah, so all that gone.
Absolutely.
So that got wiped out?
Well,
Yes.
But that's not the spell. Was only that
The spell,
everybody has
everyone
forgotten
forgets.
him.
Well, he said it would be Strange. Said it would be as if he had never existed.
But that's
So what
not
happened?
even-
So all that stuff is gone.
I don't-
How does he rent an apartment if he doesn't have?
That's a good
papers?
question because
Background checks.
He's also got
Right.
his,
Like, where does he
in
get money
his-
from?
Where's his money coming from?
But okay, do you want me to answer the
Sorry.
question or
No,
do you
no.
just want
Mostly,
to yell?
I want to be on my soapbox
Okay.
and yell about what I think is a really stupid ending
Okay.
to a movie.
Okay,
Please go ahead.
so because he's also got his GED like pass your GED thing in his box, and I'm like, how are you doing that? Nobody knows you exist.
Right.
It is. Yeah, the best way of explaining it, I guess, is that everything that we saw happened. It just nobody knows that it was Peter Parker that was Spider-Man.
But then that also means that, again, what Alan brings up, all the government documentation stuff
But all
would
that's
exist.
been erased.
But like, so every
So then there's a
buddy who
gap and
texted
everyone's-
their friend was like, "Rich, did you see this? Like some kid, Peter
All those
Parker."
You
texts,
sent me a
yes,
video
gone.
of
Yeah.
it and stuff.
It's all gone.
Gone.
So then has everybody lost a week in their lives?
Either gone or never happened.
And so the people who read the text don't remember them either.
Correct.
How could it never have happened?
Well, because the spell made it so that Peter Parker never existed.
But the spell didn't go back in time.
But Peter
Yes,
Parker
it
did
has.
Something
exist.
happened still had to happen.
Everything happened. You just don't know that it's Peter Parker doing it.
But aren't they wiping the minds after the fact? Like it still happened.
You know, like if I
Well,
break
yes, it all happened, but in people's memory, it's just happened with Spider-Man. They don't know that Spider-Man's
So
Peter
like
Parker.
if somebody's like, "What'd you do last week, Patrick Prime?" You'd be like, "I don't remember. Like 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sharp on." But last
No,
week,
I'd be like, 2 weeks ago,
It's fuzzy.
Spider Guy saved me, but I don't know who that Spider Guy is.
But like a week ago, when there was a Times Square-esque giant video screen of
Yes.
Mysterio saying Peter Parker is
that's
Spider-Man.
gone.
Is Mysterio gone? Or just the part where he says Peter Parker Spider-Man?
Is the videos? So the
Yeah,
video
possibly
clips are
that's
gone.
gone. Yeah, maybe that's gone. I don't
Maybe,
know. Yeah, I don't know.
maybe. So you don't know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
The details are a bit sketchy.
Also, and it's a funny thing you bring that up because in one of
The
the
creators have actually said something to the effect of that, they may explore this in later films, like defining. They left it
Yeah.
deliberately.
Oh, good. They
murky.
may.
Oh, is that what they did? Yes. Don't you wish you had the power where you could just say things like that when you're done? You're like,
Well-
oh man, I didn't think about that. We left it deliberately murky.
No, you can do that because just remember, in it's true. Palpatine's back somehow.
Do you remember me being satisfied with that?
I do not.
Yeah. Okay. Just so we're clear.
Okay, but to be fair, were you ever going to be satisfied with a movie that involves the multiverse and stuff like this?
I'm not.
Into the
I don't
Spider-Verse,
have the same
I was satisfied with.
multiverse aversion I have to time travel aversion.
That is, I'm pretty sure you have not made that distinction in the past.
Really? No, I think I've been very clear that I hate time travel.
Yes,
To
you
be
have,
fair,
but you,
Well, you
we
know
have
what?
not
Why don't
needed
you go
to
back and listen
separate
to
the
the
two.
podcast?
you seem
and
to
see what
treat
you can find.
multiverse as time travel fairly often.
I don't think that's true.
I think it is.
How many
I don't
times have we
think
talked
so.
about the multiverse?
I don't think raising your voice.
Oh, yeah, shake some paper.
Oh, so
How crummy is it? Oh, sorry, Rich. Go ahead.
so the mid-credit scene with Venom.
You mean the scene that makes no sense to anyone who hasn't seen Venom?
Yes.
Well, that too, but also
Or
this-
how he got pulled in when he's never met Peter Parker.
So that was really my point. Is then like they make a whole big deal about like, oh, they're coming here because they know who I am.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
There's he literally goes and says, I should go see who the Spider-Man is. Like in the clip, they basically make a plot
hey, Rich, here's what you don't understand. They left it deliberately murky.
hole. Like I just love that they could
right.
have just not
No.
said that. They could have said
One
you
of
know,
the problems with this film was there were moments where they preferred to be cute than to write a really well plotted, solidly strung together movie.
Yeah. They'll,
Like
they'll figure it out in the next movie.
they prefer
like the
well,
Department of Damage Control.
right. They
well, Damage Control has appeared before.
They just wanted
Wait,
to be
they
cute.
have?
Yeah, they're the ones in the first Spider-Man film that are collecting all of the Stark technology that take it away from Vulture's character.
Oh.
And tick him off to begin with.
So
Damage Control has existed before.
okay,
They're not new.
It
That's
just
not
sounded
where
like
I
such
would
a
plant
joke.
my flag.
They didn't seem like so much of a government institution then as though much they were run by Stark, but the Damage Control has already appeared once.
So then to finish my magic questions, how crummy was it of Peter to go back and find Ned and MJ? and not try to communicate to them. He promised.
He did, but he also realizes that their lives might be better with him out of them.
Oh, come on. This is of all the things I hated about this movie. This is what I hate the most.
It's also what Hope hated the most, too, I
It's
think.
this very forced, artificial ending that doesn't feel real, that they're happier without him, so that we can jump ahead sometime in the future. Let's be honest, 6 years later.
Whatever it is.
MJ's at MIT. She's got a boyfriend. They're serious. But now Peter's decided that he's going to...
Now is a good time.
I will not have it, sir. I thought that was cheap and forced.
Yeah. Also, he could have gone to Doctor Strange.
I saw it coming a mile away.
Yes, we all did.
Yes.
Which is because
we were
it
still
was
unhappy about it.
cheap
A
and forced.
naturally organic development from the rest of the film.
Also, I like the idea that he could have gone to Doctor Strange. Like, of all the people on the planet, Doctor Strange is the one person you could go to and say, hey, you cast a spell that made everybody forget who I existed to stop the multiverse. And Doctor Strange would be like, that sounds like me. How, and then found some way to tell MJ or Ned, besides of him just walking in or whatever. Instead, he's like, no, I want to get an apartment and just live alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because me being around makes everyone's life worse. It's the old Parker luck.
That's what I learned from the other two Spider-Mans.
Parker attitude, that's for sure.
Gets us to a classic Spider-Man status quo.
And, well, I didn't mind trying to get to a more classic status quo. The whole armored Spider-Man is not my favorite Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about before. Like, I don't like that this Spider-Man is so dependent on Stark. Like, like the end of this film I like because he's in his own homemade costume. He's likely going to have to make his own web fluid and all of that.
Right.
And, his identity is unknown, but he still possibly is suspected of murder with Mysterio, which is...
Do we know that? Like,
we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But
again,
that would be
that
was his status quo through a
like
lot
putting
of the
him on
70s
the
and
run
early
that
80s,
people are distrustful.
That it's
of him.
classic
Yeah.
Spider-Man. So
in that part I liked. I thought the Ned MJ stuff was forced. Returning Spider-Man more to his roots. I mean, there was a moment when I realized that Aunt May wasn't going to make it because that was not.
Well, when she says, "With great power comes great responsibility,"
as soon as she said that, I was like,
Peter should not say that.
Yes, yeah, and so
like that's not going to go well.
And so,
and then when she got up and she's like, "I'm fine," I'm like, "No, you're not fine.
Yeah,
they are clearly going to draw this out, and it's going to be bad."
And it was like to me though. And I have somebody who complains about how they show, Batman's parents getting murdered over and over again, or Uncle Ben dying in the street over and over again. This actually kind of worked for me.
Yeah.
Like, it does make it feel more like the classic Spider-Man.
Except that classic Spider-Man always had Aunt May around.
Well, there's that.
So
maybe she'll come back.
No, she won't.
Maybe he'll find...
Strange will resurrect her.
Maybe he'll find an Uncle Ben somewhere.
Ooh, zombies.
Zombies.
Well, there was a whole Marvel zombies thing.
Comes great brains.
Okay, that didn't start as a zombie. It started as...
That's actually what it started
like Fozzie Bear or something?
Waka waka brains.
Oh, my God.
Muppet zombies.
A zombies Muppet?
Muppet zombies.
So good.
That would be so good.
I'm disappointed it's taken this long to...
Oh, my God. We need to write Muppet zombies.
Yeah. For sure. So maybe we're on to...
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog. You rewrite the song from the Muppet Show?
It's time to eat the brains.
It's time to brains.
It's just that. Just replace words with brains.
Oh. I can't wait to read your script where apparently every single sentence is going to end in brains. Yeah. So maybe we're to the good part of the movie because we're talking about returning Spider-Man to his roots.
I do have a question about...
Yes, please.
So the whole idea is Peter is curing the villains.
Oh, I want to talk about that,
So
but it's
that-
not in the good... Well, it's part
so
of the
that
good
they
part of
go
it.
back.
Yeah.
I'm like, but yeah, they're going back at the exact moment of their death.
Yes. So we're fixing
But
them
now
so
without
that they're better people
But
to
are
be
they gonna-
sent back to their deaths.
But are they going to have... Well, I think the theory is that they can go back and prevent their death. But if
Won't
they
it be
are...
too late?
That's one of my questions. Like,
Yeah.
aren't they just going back to...
And then die more.
Die.
Like they have a higher chance now of dying because they now don't have the powers.
Yeah, I'm just like, it is a little... I was kind of like, I'm not sure. It does make it feel like, I was like, it's a nice gesture, Peter. It might have been completely futile.
Well, is it a nice gesture to force somebody to completely change who they are?
Well, but
Mere
but they're not changing who they are. I mean, Doc Ock is not who he is because the chip is malfunctioning.
Same thing
Because
with
the
Green
chip
Goblin.
gets broken in Spider-Man 2.
Well, no, that's fair enough.
So
but,
that's fair, and same with Green Goblin.
He's
Green
basically
Goblin
schizophrenic to a point.
well, what about
messed
this?
up.
But like Electro, he seems to like his powers.
He
Yes,
does.
he also loves destroying things and killing people.
So it's okay. So Rich is kind of making
But
the
he's the same
argument
person.
for eugenics.
Well, I think the idea
essentially,
was
is what I
that
hear Rich
the idea
saying.
was
Like,
that
Wow.
forcible eugenics is fine, right? Like
well,
we're
I
going
think
to take
the
these
idea was
people and
that
make them what
it's
we
not
think
clear
they
in the
should
film,
be.
but I think the idea is that getting his powers, like made him unbalanced in some way, and so now they fixed that. But yeah,
yes.
he's going to go back to the exact moment.
And then he's going to die.
Yeah.
The best part of the movie for me as a Quaker pacifist was that Spidey's trying to find a way out that's not violence. Despite the fact that Strange keeps telling him, like, violence is the only solution.
Not violence, sending them to their deaths.
Yes.
Some would consider
Execution,
that violence.
which is their destiny.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just their destiny.
did-
Some Rich would say that the death penalty
Yes.
is not pacifist.
Well, but it's not a death penalty. It's just their destiny.
Wow.
Are you like writing the Republican platform for 2024?
Like you should want. Like, that's a politician.
We don't believe in death sentences. We believe in death
Destinies.
destinies.
It's a destiny.
I did like that. This Spider-Man, like Tom Holland, stood up to more of the authority figures. More. Throughout it as well.
That was one of my fears of the trailer. I'm like, please tell me they're not just replacing Stark with Strange as like
Yeah,
his
that's
mentor
in the
figure, 'cause
beginning,
I'm
that's
like,
what I thought was gonna
He
happen,
doesn't.
yeah.
I
But
don't
let's
want
be
another
honest.
mentor.
Like the whole Strange role was terrible.
It was kind of forced. I mean, again,
It was forced and it was terrible.
The first chunk of the film, it's very plot hammery in the sense of we need to get to the multiverse stuff.
Yeah, and you know what we need in the multiverse is a Dark Strange.
Oh, that's coming later.
Oh my God. Blech.
Not late enough.
That's the multiverse of
Yeah, like
madness.
they can't put that off far enough.
Oh, you're gonna be Well,
gonna
you've
be-
already
It was-
seen it in What If, so
It was funny because at the end I was like, "Oh, so they've solved the
you do
multiverse
realize
thing.
that
So there
is
is no
what most
multiverse.
That is
issues."
hands down what most people agree to be the best episode of What If is the Doctor Strange one.
Oh, it's terrible. Have I ever said on the show that Americans confuse dark with smart?
You might have mentioned it.
No. Do you think that's true?
on occasion.
You know what I haven't said yet today is peak superhero.
You haven't.
I feel like this might extend peak superhero for a while.
You think
I mean,
so?
He still makes some money.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. With,
Oh, good. Marvel can still make some money.
Yeah.
I was worried.
There are some bad things I want to talk about.
Okay.
I don't know how we're doing on time, but there's
no
a couple
idea.
other good things I'd like to talk about.
45 minus 5, so
We're
40.
good.
All right. The best part of the movie for me, and it wasn't really close, were the three Spider-Men on
Yep.
film together.
Oh, yeah.
there's just
Like that. The movie just
the
hits a
youth
whole
pastor,
different gear.
The You're Really Amazing. Like
Oh,
that's where the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I wish more of the movie had been the four of them.
I'd watch it. I'm sorry, the four of them.
the three of them.
Okay.
Plus Ned. Ned was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ned was there.
Oh wait, MJ was there. The
MJ
five of
was
them.
there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
did
five
like
of them.
Ned's little, crisis of conscience of like, oh, no, I'm not going to be a villain.
Yeah, he will be eventually.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Nah, I don't know if he will.
But yeah, no, I mean, I would watch an entire movie of just the three of them.
Yeah.
Because the chemistry and the rapport between them was amazing. I mean, again, I didn't realize I needed closure from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man until this film gave me the closure I didn't need.
Yeah. I was talking with Ed about the film, and he said it was kind of like Spider-Man 8 was how to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, and it does kind of function in that way, in a really nice way. And Garfield always got so much grief
He did.
for his Spider-Man, and I think now that people are petitioning for an Amazing 3, maybe people can go back and appreciate his performance
Yeah.
in what was a horribly overwritten and misdrafted film.
Yeah, well, part of it, too, is that he did not have... Well, number one, he didn't have the best villains. And then...
But the whole parents plot
Yeah, well,
line was terrible.
I mean, again, they took a number of... They were hamstrung with some of the weaker Spider-Man material,
Right.
I would say.
Because they can't win. They either go with the classic stuff, we complain they're doing the classic stuff again, or they do something new and we're pointing out it's garbage. Love the arrival of Charlie Cox's Daredevil.
Ah, yes.
Nice little moment.
Nice little moment, yeah.
Yeah.
It does raise the question of,
Yes.
is this
And will he remember Peter?
the Daredevil?
No.
Is this the Daredevil from the Netflix series? Or is this just the MCU version of?
Right.
Because to bring the Netflix characters in,
Yeah.
those were pretty dark and violent shows in
Yeah.
a way that the MCU is not.
Well, you could change the tone a little bit if you wanted to.
But I'm just wondering if it is going to be a watered down sort of version of the Netflix people coming over.
Well, unless you just consider dark deep.
Well, not so much.
we do.
It may not affect him as much as it may affect other characters.
Well, but so much of the Netflix Daredevil was predicated upon kind of the absorbing of violence. And like you can't really show that in the MCU.
So I'm kind of wondering if, and I guess it depends on whether or not we see more of the Netflix people in the MCU going forward. Did any of those things we've seen in the Netflix series actually happen, or is it just we're kind of starting over and it's these characters in the MCU and we're just using the original actors?
Yeah. I also like the washing machine in the basement.
Oh, in the
Undercroft.
What is it? The Undercroft, which is the one Lego set they've made so far, and I need to look and see if it came with the washing machine.
God,
that's the one Lego set they released from it.
Oh, they must. It must, right?
I don't know. I'd have to look and see.
Or do you have to pay extra for that?
No, that would be the
way.
No,
you'll just have to make one yourself, which isn't that hard to do.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
You can just mock it.
I realized if I could have any job in the world, the job I'd want is to be the casting director for this movie. Who should we get to play Electro? Who would be a good Doc Ock?
To be fair,
we need Spiderman. Like literally.
To be fair,
literally, they didn't have to
Who's
cast.
Who's going to play Jonah Jameson?
They didn't have to cast anybody.
But to be fair,
how am I not being fair?
The casting people of the MCU have done a really good job of
Agreed.
casting. So letting them take one movie off is fine.
I'm just saying, wouldn't it be great? I think Thomas Hayden Church would be great for Sandman.
Yeah. I also do like that they kept his
Pete?
character completely consistent. Because one of the things that drives me crazy about Spider-Man 3 is, he turns into this giant sand monster. He's beaten on Spider-Man. And then he's like, oh, I didn't really want to hurt anybody. And I'm like, dude, you just beat on a dude. And then in this one, he's like, I just want to go home. And then he's like completely trying to destroy the Spider-Man. I'm like, yep, that's typical Sandman for you.
Yeah, he's a little unpredictable.
Yeah, it's just his character is like, I don't want to hurt anybody, but I'm going to hurt some people to get what I want.
But I'm gonna.
Right.
I don't want to do it.
I mean, that's consistent. I don't want to.
Like, you didn't need to do any of the stuff you did to accomplish what you wanted. So I like I did appreciate a lot of the kind of meta commentary on, like, the whole natural web shooters versus the mechanical ones.
Absolutely.
The whole, I kind of liked the Garfield's character being like, oh, I'm just so bad compared to you guys.
Maguire's character doing the back stretches.
Yeah.
Like, there were all kinds of meta commentary kind of build. And so this film was so much about fan service.
Or Easter eggs, as some might refer to them.
Yeah, however you want to think about it.
It's a very fan servicey film.
It was a film made for fans.
Oh yeah,
and in that way, it worked. And I'm still fanish enough.
Yeah.
That you give me the three Spider-Men on screen together at the same time, and how do you not enjoy?
Well, particularly given how good they were together. Because that's the thing. This kind of fan service only works if the fan service is effective.
Right.
And it does, which again, it's like, I'm like, I realize how we got there was probably not the best put together plot, but I don't care because how we got there was fantastic. What we got was fantastic.
But see, I disagree a little bit. When it's the three Spider-Men, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. There is, it's fantastic. It's like fan service as it should be done. But to me, the villains felt very forced. And
they would have been fine.
I didn't find them nearly as interesting or as funny.
Well, they would have been fine
engaging.
if they had just done Doc Ock and Green Goblin. You didn't really need the other three because they were just. I mean, they tried to make kind of Electro a little bit more than he was, and it didn't. I don't know that it worked as well. I mean, again, when you go from Molina and Defoe's Green Goblin, there's a big drop off on the other villains.
Right, and you're probably a bigger fan than me in some ways. And so maybe that appealed to you more, but for me, I don't know. I didn't need any of them. Could have done with none of them.
Oh, I perfectly.
All I need is a shawarma shop and the three Spider-Men.
I'm always happy to see Molina's Doc Ock because his Doc Ock is really good.
Yeah, it's fine.
And they fixed the big problem with Defoe's Green Goblin, which I never understood why you cast someone who looks like a goblin in the first film, and then put him behind that ridiculous mask. The smashing of his mask, and then I was like, that's a nice meta commentary as well, because we don't need the mask. Like, the guy literally looks like a goblin.
Well, let's be kind. This is a kind show.
Yeah.
So, well, no, I mean, just facial expressions and whatnot. Like, he can make himself look like a goblin.
You look like a goblin.
Yeah. Like, wwhy would you?
Seems
Congratulations.
insulting. Yeah, you
No,
know.
it's just
You
oh
are
my
hideous.
God,
God, he looks just like a goblin.
It's just the way he looks.
He's just the way he looks.
He's goblin-y. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, sir. You look like a goblin, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely hideous.
I don't mean any insult by this.
Yeah,
of
no,
course.
it's
You know,
very-
it's just,
No
like
offense,
goblin.
but you
Yeah,
look like a goblin, sir.
So I was glad they fixed that and put him in sort
Yeah.
of. We actually got to see his face. So.
Yeah. But the best part about the film was when the film could kind of knowingly wink at what it was doing and say, like, this is just for all the fan.
Which is interesting because you usually hate that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But Garfield and Maguire and Holland together, there's just like a chemistry and a charisma that totally works. They pull off what shouldn't work.
Yep, they do indeed.
I do have some complaints, however, about
Oh,
this film.
shocking to me.
So can we talk about the Statue of Liberty?
Why? The Captain
It
America
raised-
shield?
It raised a lot of questions for me. And if you could give me just a moment, I'd like to try to play out the logic of what I see going on.
Sure, yeah.
Because we just taught a linked class on immigration.
Yep.
So you see the Statue of Liberty, and they're standing on the Statue of Liberty, and they talk about like this is the dream,
He chose it because
what
it's a
was-
place known for second chances.
second chances, which is very much the American dream and immigration. So
Come here for a new life.
yeah, and
Opportunity.
exactly. So Lady Liberty's under construction with a Captain America shield being added, which felt really heavy-handed to me. But okay, like I'm going to let that pass. So let's play with that metaphor then. If this is really a movie about second chances, then it's about these newly arrived villains who are immigrants from a different universe.
But also the
right?
two Spider-Man would also be part of that.
Right. So there is this kind of immigration story taking place.
There is. It's very metaphorical, which is never good.
No, and here's why. Because Peter's efforts to help them seem really praiseworthy. Until you realize that to be accepted by Spider-Man, you have to be quote-unquote
Fixed.
cured or fixed. And that means like to assimilate is kind of a requirement. Like they don't really get to choose assimilation.
Well, but also
They
they
have
don't
it
even really
forced
get to
upon
assimilate.
them.
They're going to get fixed and then be sent back.
Yeah.
I'm not done yet, sir.
Okay.
Because that's exactly where I'm going. And then, next line of my notes, and then after they are all fixed, they are forcibly sent back to what we've already described as what is probably their deaths in their own universes. And then Doctor Strange casts a spell that prevents any more immigrants from ever arriving.
At least
So in
because
the
of
end-
the previous spell, yes.
Yeah. So in the end, the film is a nativist tract that Madison Grant would have embraced and loved. We don't want immigrants here. We're going to pass laws to keep them all out. And if they happen to sneak in, we're going to forcibly fix them and make them better.
Fun for the whole family.
It felt to me as if No Way Home wanted to do something with an immigration metaphor and ended up doing something that I think if they heard me say this, they would say, good God, sir, that's not what we intended.
Yeah, but it also is very fitting with the Spider-Man films because my one complaint about the original Raimi films, particularly the first two, and particularly the first one, is they come out, I think 2002 is when the first one comes out. So they're very right after 9/11.
Right. The flag is everywhere.
And you have
yeah.
that, and in both films there's a very jingoistic kind of patriotism, and you mess with Spidey, you mess with New York, and we're all one. And so having a kind of jingoistic kind of patriotism is consistent. I think the creators were like, oh, we need a reason for why he needs to be here for the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
Oh, okay, it's second chances. And then I don't think they really thought about what that means for everything else they
Never
did.
really thought to unpack what they start. Not that I'm saying most fans went to this film and kind of did to it what I've just done to it.
Though, well, I know at least
But,
one
yeah.
fan did, because when I saw the film the first night and got that moment, I'm like, well, Alan's going to have thoughts on that. I'm like, that's just a completely random, like, let's just insert a little bit of immigration metaphor into this film.
Yeah.
You know, not really thinking about all the ramifications. Yeah, it was a
Because the
moment.
happy ending is only after we build a wall. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's a
just-
magical wall, but it's a wall we build against them.
It's not a wall. It's more of a mystic barrier.
Yeah. As they head off to their death destinies. We've created a mystical
it's
barrier.
Destinies.
Destinies, sorry.
Not death destinies. It's destinies.
Marketing didn't like Death Destiny.
Hashtag destinies.
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 So, anything else that you did not like about the film?
Well, we kind of already talked about it. The mid-credits scene with Venom was a complete waste.
Oh, 100%.
In that-
I
if
mean,
you-
it was funny.
It was cute. But that's not a reason to put it in a movie. You're a comm major, Rich. You know that, right?
I agree. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's neat, and I wish they'd almost had just said, like, they could have just said, hey, this reminds me of that Peter Parker fellow. Like, just pretend like he'd met a Peter Parker at some point or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Also, again, like the little Venom bit at the end, like
it was bad. Yeah,
that should have been.
How would that
back
even
as well.
stay? Like I'm sure that a magical immigration wall would keep out the
right.
studio too. I don't know. So, and the fight scene at the end runs way too long, right? That's my complaint about every one of these.
Well,
films.
that's everyone's complaint about the MCU films is the big CGI.
I just want to say I was an early adopter.
Which leads me to another fair or foul.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
This is Bilge Ebiri from Vulture.
Bilge?
Bilge.
Bilge.
Who critiques the film as, quote, aggressively mediocre. Quote,
Wait, that sounds familiar.
in most respects, what Spider-Man films have been black holes of imagination. This is a particular shame when it comes to Spider-Man, since previous attempts at the character, even at their worst, have often been visually spectacular. It does take a unique brand of corporate cynicism to drain any and all grandeur from the sight of Spidey swinging through the canyons of Manhattan, trapping the most cinematic of all superheroes in nondescript swirls of CGI sludge. Feels like its own act of villainy.
That feels a little overstated. I mean, there's obviously a lot of visual stuff in the film. But, he also wrote that the Tom Holland Spider-Man films have been so eager to please that one does feel like a bit of a crank criticizing them. Nobody should enjoy kicking puppies.
It's interesting.
He goes on, and while the previous Holland films have been mediocre in modest ways, No Way Home feels downright aggressively in its mediocrity.
Yeah. See, part of it too is that this film, because the other two Spider-Man MCU films were very much, Homecoming is very much in kind of like that 80s Ferris Bueller, John Hughes kind of mold. Yeah. Far From Home is very much in kind of like that 80s vacation film kind of mold.
Okay.
This one, I guess maybe some of the college stuff is the closest we get to that. This one is an MCU film. It's not the other two Spider-Man films.
No, it's not.
Very different
it's not.
from them.
And it's different from the Spider-Man films that came before it, where, like, Once Upon a Time, he is onto something when he is seeing that Once Upon a Time, just seeing a guy swing down Madison Avenue was a really spectacular thing. And, what's a filmmaker to do? If that's all you show again, people are going to be like, yeah, like, so what? Yeah. So the need to ever... I think that Bilge is a little excessive.
Is he more excessive than The Dark Knight is 10 times better as a work of art than
Can we find a happy medium in there somewhere, maybe?
I don't think The Dark Knight does happy.
So would you agree with Ruben Peralta Rigaud Cocalekas when he writes, one of the most emotional adventures ever produced by the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Ooh, boy.
Do you find this like a deeply emotional adventure?
I find parts of it, but I don't know if I find it that way on the whole.
Yeah. So your answer is, again, kind of in the middle?
I'd say, I would just say
There's a lot of nostalgia. I don't know if it's emotional, though.
There's like a difference, right?
Yeah.
Like it's one thing. I guess nostalgia could be a kind of emotion, but do you feel a lot of emotion besides nostalgia? It was interesting too. When I saw the movie, the audience was very quiet.
It was interesting because I saw it the opening night, and the audience was not quiet. Like
but
the
same
audience
with mine.
was,
I didn't see
the
no
moment
one
Charlie
talking.
Cox showed up, like the crowd just went crazy.
Yeah,
and it was basically it was that way from there on in.
And I've seen TikToks of when Tobey Maguire shows up for the first time, like the gasp.
I was shocked because when Garfield first showed up,
like
when you first see him in the Spider-Man costume, like everyone started cheering. I'm like, I can't tell which one that is. Like, I'm like, did you guys recognize that as Garfield's costume? Because I did not.
Maybe they're just...
They all kind of...
I was kind of bummed that they both showed up right then. I was kind of hoping that, like, when Tom Holland was, like, fighting, like, one of the villains, one of them would show up.
Yeah.
Like Into the Spider-Verse was kind of piecemealed out
Ned was able to figure out how to open the portals in, like, an hour, and it took Strange forever in his film.
So is Ned gifted in some way?
I don't know. They kind of hinted at that. Like, he makes that comment about, like, we suppose
like,
we
even
have magic
Strange
in the
is
family.
like, you did that how many times? And it's like,
Yeah, very... Very strange.
Maybe Ned will be the next Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, they'll give it to anybody.
Apparently.
I mean, if I were you, I'd put in a resume.
Yeah.
He could not be worse. As long as he shows up.
Now we'll see what happens in Multiverse of Madness. I'm not sure I want to take on that position if things are just going to hell.
Fair. So, can I read you something from Tilt Magazine?
Sure. I don't know. Can you?
I do that every week. No Way Home.
Yes, sorry.
It was funny in second
Giggling
grade.
like a goblin.
Which is a compliment and in no way a derogatory comment.
It's not. He's got a very expressive face.
No Way Home is a deeply profound and profoundly hilarious experience
Okay.
from start to finish. One that words will never quite do justice.
Okay, that is
Wow.
a
Are
touch
you-
overblown.
Kidding me?
This must have been the person who
Are they really
nominated The
saying
Dark
that
Knight.
about the 9th best film of all time? Yes, I mean, it is a very, I mean, you will not agree with me on this, but for very different reasons.
Yeah.
This movie is the closest comparison I have to it is Age of Ultron. In that Age of Ultron was basically like, I think I said on the show that it felt like the equivalent of like a giant size special or annual kind of thing.
Right.
That's what No Way Home was for me too. I'm like, this is just a fun, romp, and we're not going to worry about how we get there. We're just going to get there as fast as possible, and we're just going to have all these people meet up, and it's going to be fantastic.
Fair enough.
But there's not
for me, when I start thinking about its place in the overall Marvel pantheon, that's a demerit. Like to me, it does what it wants to do fairly well.
Yeah.
And thinking about it as like an annual that is pulling that's fine. But that doesn't make for a great movie.
It is one of the most enjoyable MCU
It makes for an
films.
enjoyable movie, but
It
there's
is
a big
not
difference.
the best of the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Winter Soldier is still probably the best written and plotted.
Might be the best film.
It's up. Up. I mean, it's up there with me for. I mean, again, Winter Soldier, Infinity War, Endgame, Black Panther, even the first Captain America I would throw in there are all really good films.
I would
done.
I would
films.
drop the Avengers down half a peg.
That's just because you hate Avengers.
No, they're so big. Like
And Infinity War, like especially
Infinity War is a George Perez comic on screen.
that's fair.
love.
I'm not arguing that, but yeah,
And Endgame should not have worked, and it works.
right. So I would put Black Panther up there, and I would put probably the two Caps that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is not that, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's probably still in the top 10 for me.
but not the top 10 films ever made. That's an abomination.
That might
like
be. That
anybody that would
seems-
say this is a top 10 film ever.
It does seem a little.
That's
of
ridiculous.
all the films ever made. Like there's a
Yes.
lot of movies.
There's a lot of movies.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. This is number 9.
This is and Dark Knight's number 4. So
Yeah. So there might
mean,
be
I guess
there
in that
might be some
universe-
problems with this.
yeah, but yeah, no, I mean,
this ranking
yeah, it is
system.
it is a very enjoyable, satisfying film on that level.
And maybe that's the kind of film American. It's not the film we want, but it's the film we need
yeah,
at this moment.
It was
as we
It's
sit
just a
in year 2 plus of the COVID pandemic and this like seemingly unrelenting stream of bad news.
Yes.
This is a film that doesn't really ask you to think. In fact, I would say this film actively says, "Please don't." Think.
Oh yeah,
we don't want you thinking about this. We
literally
want you
watching the
feeling
film
about
the
it.
moment Doc Ock showed up, like 15 minutes in. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I'm just like shutting down my brain. I'm like, okay, that is this kind of film. I'm just gonna sit back and watch and enjoy the ride.
And it was a good ride.
Yeah.
The immigrant metaphor kind of maybe
Yeah, they probably could have like not
a little
done that.
clunky at that point. But yeah, and so I think there we finally reach an agreement on the film.
Yeah.
It's not a great film, but it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's probably the most fun MCU film. Like I have a hard time thinking of one that's more fun.
Yeah, no, I would agree with
than
that.
this.
Like it's
First Guardians might be,
the first Guardians
would be
probably
probably
the
the
most
closest.
competitive. Yeah.
but yeah, it's just a fun film, and yeah, once you realize that, which the film kind of makes clear that that's what it is,
Right.
about 15 minutes in, it's but
no,
yeah,
and that's fine.
but yeah, is it the best of them? No,
No,
But
it's not remotely the best of them.
so. But yeah, it's probably in the top 10.
How many MCU films are there now?
23?
Yeah, so middle of the pack, I would say. Middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And really, whatever boost it gets largely from nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
And it gets from, the pairing of the Spider-Man.
Yes.
Again.
Which, of course, raises the question.
Yes.
Because the upcoming Flash movie is bringing in Michael Keaton, Batman, and all that. So you're, of course, very excited for that, right?
I am not, actually. I've seen the Batman trailer more than I'd like to at this point.
Oh, the Batman trailer.
Oh.
Not looking forward to that. And no,
DC
Pattinson has clearly been moving in this direction for a while, right?
Which direction is that?
Like the multiverse that they were.
Have they?
It seems like it. No,
I guess they kind
Do
of.
you think they're feeling like once again Marvel kind of like
it is kind
cut
of
the line in front of them?
It is kind of interesting in that
sneaking in the multiverse before they could get.
Well,
to it.
and also sneaking in a movie, bringing back properties from previous iterations before they had a chance to do it.
Now
You're right. We've been talking.
Flash
They've been
looks
talking.
derivative,
It
right?
does, which I think Flash has been talking about doing this longer than.
It feels like they've been talking about this for a long time at DC.
Yeah.
And that they didn't get it
Well,
done.
and part of the problem is that, I think the Flash script has been rewritten multiple times, and the film has kind of turned into kind of a hot mess.
Yeah. And now everybody's going to see Michael Keaton. They're going to be like, that would have been more interesting.
Yeah. Why is Vulture in this film?
Yeah. Oh my God. That's the perfect reaction, actually.
What's Vulture doing there? That doesn't make sense. Why is he dressed as a bat? He's a vulture.
Yeah. So no, I'm not particularly looking forward to that.
No, but why would you look forward to anything coming from DC at this point?
Yeah. No, Suicide Squad was quite disappointing.
Hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, just an hour and 10 minutes. I
No,
think we're
that's
just
not
saying we got another 30.
Yeah, I'd say we're good. Well, it's a long movie.
Please let the audience go home.
They're at home listening to us.
That's right. That's right. I don't really have anything else I have to say about this movie. If we're going to let Rich just pull the plug.
I think
what you
I
can
was
do.
suggesting I can just stop recording.
Yeah, no, I think we've covered pretty much everything I have. On Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. Numbers.
Yes. To wrap it up, where do you think it sits with
99.
critics and audiences?
Oh, it's got to be. I'm going to say audience has got to be. Do they give a 100 score?
They do.
120?
I'm going to say 90. 99.
Okay.
99. I'm going to say critics, because I've at least read Bilge, or like 94.
I'm going to say 80-90. Critic audience.
Okay. Alan nailed the critics. It's 94 with critics.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
It's 98 with audiences.
Wow.
Which, the 98 with audiences ties it with another Marvel film for the highest in the MCU.
Oh, I know we've talked about this before, Rich. What would be the high? So is it one of the Avengers movies?
No.
It's not.
No.
It's not Black Panther.
No.
Too political.
Iron Man?
Nope.
God. Winter Soldier.
Nope.
Civil War?
Nope.
So it's not an Avenger film.
Nope.
Ant-Man. It's got to be Ant-Man and the
Nope.
Wasp.
Nope.
What is it? Guardians?
Thor?
Nope. Nope.
Iron Man
Nope.
1, 2, or 3? Captain America
Nope.
1, 2, or 3? Is it an old one?
Nope.
No, it can't be. I'll give up.
Eternals?
Nope.
I'm just saying names.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Shang-Chi?
It's Shang-Chi.
I was
going to say, what haven't we said?
Shang-Chi's
This
at
is a
98.
repeat of the conversation we
Yeah.
had before.
Its critics score of 94
Critics score.
puts it in a tie for the second highest.
Oh, boy.
Because
So
the
the
highest is Black Panther.
I was going to
With the
say Black
critics.
Panther.
What are the two that it's tied with?
I don't care.
At a 94.
One's a Cap.
No.
One's an Iron Man.
Endgame.
Yes. One is an Iron Man.
Iron Man 1.
Correct.
It should be Iron Man 3, by the way.
Okay, it's not.
Endgame?
No.
Infinity War?
Yes.
Infinity War.
Really? I guess critics. Yeah.
I don't know. People need to be more discerning.
Oh, I do have
Like,
screen.
is that
Critics need to be more critical.
go see a movie that's not a superhero movie is my plea to everybody listening to the podcast. We can see superhero movies too, Patrick. It's not an insult. Just see some other movies.
Much like a goblin. It's not an
My
insult.
plea would be for other people on the podcast to finally watch Hawkeye so we can talk about it.
We will do that soon.
Hey,
but,
don't say we. I've watched the whole thing.
but also coming soon, the next Riverdale quiz.
We should be doing Hawkeye first.
We should, but I feel like we want to have hope in the studio. Remember, you're being recorded.
Yes.
So, what's your answer, Patrick? Where would you like to go next?
Let's have Hope in the studio next. That sounds
to
like
talk about Hawkeye.
the best. Yeah. Oh, good idea. Hope would have lots of thoughts.
Here's the problem with Hawkeye. I'm really interested in watching Hawkeye. Nobody else in my family has any interest in Hawkeye.
Isn't your well? Vicky's back at work this week, isn't she?
She is, but
That
like
frees up the house.
Hawkeye's been running for, like you said, a month and a half, and I'll be like, let's watch. And Vicky's, I can't get anybody.
So you're
motivated
telling me
to
there
watch
was
it.
never a moment in the house when you were by yourself?
I did finish Alpha House, so I did have a little time to myself. I'm going to watch it by myself this week. I'll be ready to go. But Hope goes back, so maybe we should do the Riverdale Vale quiz.
That's fine. At this point, if we get to Hawkeye, whatever,
You need to make up, Rich's victory last time. So
What?
he beat you last time on Riverdale.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he did.
So
All the losses blend together.